I'm going to call this meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District to order. Welcome, colleagues, back to our home here at Sacramento County Administration Building. I want to thank staff again for that great meeting we had last month that was so easy to get to and so nice and accommodating at district headquarters. Just something to think about.
I like it here.
Thank you. Yeah, we can take a vote on that.
We have to wait until we have the right attendance to take a vote on that. We'll work on that. We're going to start off today with a roll call, unless you've already done it and recorded it.
No, sir, we have not.
Let's do a roll call.
Okay. Good morning. Member Aquino?
Here.
Karpinski Costa? Present. Desmond?
Here.
Frost?
Here.
Hume?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
Maple?
Here.
Robles?
Here.
Cerna?
Here.
Villegas?
Here.
Guerra?
Here.
And Sander.
Here.
And you have a quorum.
Very good. Let's continue with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Phil Cerna on my extreme left to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Clerk, I think we have some statements and comment procedures to read.
Yes. This meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District is being broadcast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, November 12th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. In accordance with the Government Code 54952.3, compensation for the meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and the amount of $100 will be paid for each board member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for Sacramento County supervisors and City of Sacramento council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the costs of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. To make an in-person public comment, please complete a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it is your turn to make a comment. To make a public comment by phone, dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific off-agenda item. Clerk staff will transfer each caller into the meeting. You may be on hold for an extended period of time, and your patience is appreciated. You may send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. And that concludes the announcements.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Why don't we start with item number 1?
For your consent matters today, you're acting as Sacramento Regional County Sanitation Districts, items 1 and 2.
Items 1 and 2. Are there any member questions or comments? Is there any public comment?
I did not receive any speaker slips, and we do not have anyone in the queue.
All right. I'm open for motion.
I'll move consent. Maple.
Motion made and seconded. And watch this magic board. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, isn't that wonderful? It's like the old days.
And the motion carries by unanimous vote. Thank you.
I'm sorry, every other board I serve on, we have to push buttons or be called one by one. So that's nice. That's nice. That's efficient. All right, we're moving on to item number 4. I'm sorry, item number 3, general public comment.
And we do not have any commenters in the queue, and I did not receive any requests from the public to speak.
All right, now item number 4.
Item number 4, you're acting as both the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and the Sacramento Area Sewer District. This is miscellaneous director and district engineer matters.
Shall I start?
Go right ahead.
All right.
Thank you, Krista.
A couple things. First of all, we received another award I just wanted to bring to your attention for the Echo Water Project.
Gosh, it gets so tiresome.
I know, it is tiresome. So there's, our best count is 25 and counting. So this last one is actually an international award. It's the best digital construction project in the world in water and wastewater. And that was for basically some software tools that helped with the scheduling which a project that comes in on schedule that big, it probably had an important role to play. That was the firm that helped out with that is called Project Controls Cubed, so I wanted to give them credit for that. And we do have one other award, at least, that we're in the running for that we're hoping to get that we'll find out in December. So just wanted to mention that. And then,
Chair, if I may, just a quick question. How are we managing staff time and capacity by keeping track of all of these awards?
you know, part of the time obviously is coming from our consultants that are helping out too. It's it's a little bit of everyone. We'll have a special spreadsheet.
line
The more
item
important
on the
question
budget.
is, do any of these awards come with prize money?
Yeah, exactly. With $1.7 billion would be nice. Oh, last thing, just wanted to mention that our last November meeting is right up against Thanksgiving. We are not having that meeting, so the next meeting is December 13th.
Now, Christoph, the one I think you were going to say is we're in a running for an Echo Water Award. Is that the one that's still pending?
Yeah, there's at least one that I'm aware of that
Okay.
is still pending, yes, for Echo Water.
All right. Any other director and district engineer matters? Seeing none, let's move on to item number 5.
And we did not have any public comments for that item. Item number 5, you are acting as a Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District Harvest Water Program Quarterly Report for July 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2023.
Good morning, Chair Sanders.
Good morning.
Members of the board. My name is Mike Crooks. I'm Deputy Director of Operations for Regional SAN, also engineering manager for the engineering section, and manager of the Harvest Water Capital Program Management Office. So today, Terry Mitchell and I are going to present a brief update on what's going on with Harvest Water. And I do think we have some good things to share and some challenges that we'll be facing in the future. So we'll go ahead and get started. During this presentation, we'll touch a bit on the capital program updates, so basically the status of the design and construction of the facilities, program schedule, program financials, and the administrative program updates. So for the CPMO, you should be pretty familiar with this. We show it every time, but this is the collection of projects that we've identified to construct the facilities that'll deliver water to the growers down in the southern part of Sacramento County. We've got the Harvest Water Pumping Station at the plant, Elk Grove Transmission Pipeline, the Franklin Eschinger Pipelines Project, the Central South and West Distribution Pipelines, which are mostly in the center of the service area, and then the on-farm connections themselves. And we'll talk about each of these and where we're at. And in that order that I just mentioned, so the Harvest Water Pumping Station, we received approval to advertise this project back in July when plans and specs would be ready. And we had intended to advertise shortly after that. But about the time that we were wrapping up 100% design, an issue with lead time on electrical gear, and in particular the transformers that are required for the pumping station, came to light. That would pretty much ruin our schedule. Instead of a 2-year lead time, we were informed that it's more like 3 years. So we looked at a couple of options of how to mitigate that, and what we came up with was there are a couple of existing transformers at the plant that are no longer in use because the system that they serve has been shut down, turned off because of Echo Water. So we looked at that and the viability of using those transformers, and it turns out that not only do they fit in terms of size and capacity, they're close enough to where we can run power from them to the pumping station without actually relocating them. So we had our designer basically stop what they were doing, back up, redesign the electrical components and some other things, so that we can go out to bid with that modified design. So that process happened. We did advertise back in October, so the project is on the street, and bids are currently due to be received on December 6th with award in January. So it costs us a little time in terms of advertisement and award, but it saves schedule, and it also saved quite a bit of money. The Elk Grove Transmission Pipeline, your board just approved advertisement of that project, and we had intended to advertise it tomorrow. However, we've hit a snag with one of the Union Pacific Railroad crossing permits that's caused us to pause advertising the project. So we're continuing to work with Union Pacific on that. Our hope is to advertise within about 3 weeks. So it'll push advertisement out, it'll push bid award out a little bit, but not much. Franklin Echinger Pipelines, this project has already bid, it's been awarded, and the contractor has received notice to proceed. Steve P. Rados is the contractor, and they are moving. Central South Pipelines project, this one is currently on the street. The bid date shown on the presentation is now outdated. We were planning to receive bids on the 22nd of November, which is the day before Thanksgiving. We received some calls from our contractor friends who asked if we could push it out, and so we did to November 30th. And then we heard that a large project in San Francisco is bidding on that same day, and those same contractors that want to bid our project are also chasing that one. They let us know, and so we pushed it out another week, so that one is now December 5th. Does not change the date for contract award. We're still planning for January, so that really didn't hurt us, and it'll help us by maintaining competition when our bids are due. The West Pipelines project, we did receive bids on September 19th, and your board approved award to Sukat Construction. And so we're working with them to get the contract in place and to issue notice to proceed. The on-farm connection assemblies project will trail. We're not going to advertise those until next year. We're going to give the pipeline projects a chance to get moving and make some progress. We do expect to receive 100% design in December. Bid advertisement is anticipated in March of next year. It mentions phase one. We've got, at last count, I think we're close to 140 different connections that need to be built. We still need to go through the process of establishing agreements with the growers. And until those agreements are in hand, we really cannot go out to construction with this particular package. And we don't know how many agreements are going to be executed within that springtime time frame. And so I'm expecting that those connections, those improvements will probably have to be constructed in phases as the agreements are executed. So project coordination continues. One of the main focuses over the last few months has been with the City of Elk Grove. We have an executed memorandum of understanding with the city that establishes the rules by which we will play within the city right away. I mentioned the Elk Grove Transmission Pipeline project, the snag with respect to the railroad crossing. So there still is a little bit of design work that may need to be completed before we advertise. Sacramento Department of Transportation, we've done, I think, really good work working with them to identify how we're going to restore the roads in the rural part of the county once the pipeline construction is done. I think we have a good approach with them. We have a good understanding of what it's going to take in terms of finances to do that and what their contribution toward that effort might be. Caltrans, we're still working on an encroachment permit with Caltrans. We have a pipeline that's going to go under the Lambert Road I-5 crossing, so it's an aerial crossing over Lambert. We still need an encroachment permit from them to allow construction underneath their overpass, and so we're close to getting that finalized. Property rights, again, the Union Pacific Railroad permits is still an issue. The easements that are needed, primarily for the Elk Grove transmission main, we've made a lot of really good progress with that, and we're close to done with acquiring those property rights. Public meetings and public outreach has been a focus as of late. We've had a few meetings. We met with the City Council, Elk Grove City Council. We've also had public meetings in the town of Franklin and a town hall meeting, again, in the city of Elk Grove, and they've gone very well. Attendance has been kind of light, but still, I think we're getting good attention, and the messaging seems to be very positive, and people are looking forward to the project, aside from the construction activity that's going to bring. Environmental permitting, we've got our permits were acquired a long time ago. We've had to amend them. We just completed one amendment to add staging areas for the contractors to use. So we identified parcels and property owners that would be willing to let the contractors use their property for staging and for their trailers. We had to clear those areas environmentally with respect to CEQA, and that was done. And we also needed to incorporate those new areas into the environmental permits, and that's been done recently. Now, with the on-farm connections, the design and the footprint of those has changed since the permits have been acquired, and so we have to go through another amendment process to address those minor changes, and also the number of connections. I think when we did the permits initially, we were thinking somewhere between 70 to 80. We're now double that. So, program schedule. The red line represents roughly where we're at today. Up on top is the administrative activities that Terry's group is responsible for. I think it's noteworthy that those two long bars toward the top are with respect to our California grant, the WSIP grant, and you can tell that we're past the point of chasing that grant. It's been awarded, and now it's time to spend the money. The bottom part is the capital program part, and again, you can see all the design activities, which is green, winding down and transitioning into construction, pretty much all at the same time. Financials. This, again, you've seen this slide before, and it really hasn't changed. The program for the budget, we've not changed. It's still $597 million. The grant funding is still at around 320, and so we're showing a gap of 275 million. However, and I do think there's reason to believe that this will change in the near future. We have received bids for the first two projects, pipeline projects, and they both came in well under our engineer's estimate. We don't know how the others are going to come in, but we're hopeful that we'll see that trend continue as competition on these bids still remains there. We've had a couple of pre-bid meetings on the ones that are on the street right now, and the interest is still pretty high. The same contractors are showing up with strong interest to pursue these contracts. So by the end of this year, we'll have received bids for 5 of the 6 projects. And so at that time, we'll have better certainty of what our cost look like in terms of construction costs, and I think at that point we'll be maybe taking another look at the budget that we're holding for the program. And again, another thing that's better understood is the cost implications associated with the pavement restoration and what SAC DOT's contribution is going to be. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Terry, and she'll cover the APMO updates.
Good morning, Terry Mitchell with Regional SAN and Sacramento Area Sewer District. Start off this morning to give you an update from the Administrative Program Management Office, and I guess to start off with, oh, thank you. Some good news is we did receive an award just this last Monday from the Water Reuse Association, statewide organization, and it was the Bomb and Chic Award for Vision and Water Reuse. So the project we're bringing forward really is very innovative. So pleased to share that with the board. Just a quick recap of why we received the Water Storage Investment Grant funding. And again, it was based on our ecosystem and water quality benefits. So a lot of work has been going in to be able to document and how we're going to achieve those benefits and the monitoring and metrics that go along with that. So again, the sandhill crane habitat, vernal pool habitat, fall run Chinook salmon within the Cosumnes River, and wetlands and riparian and water quality benefits. So I'm pleased to say it's been a tough couple years as we've been working through the Water Storage Investment Program. There were 7 projects that were awarded funding, and we are the first one out the gate and the farthest along in where we're at in bringing, improving the ecosystem as well as bringing a new water supply for future efforts. So you can see these other projects are quite a ways behind us. Los Vaqueros may be coming forward later next year, but again, we are the first one out the gate. It took a bit to get there before we could even enter into a funding agreement or go to a funding hearing with the Water Commission. We had to have a lot that we've completed. I'll talk a little bit about the contracts for administering public benefits. That's what we've been engaged in for the last couple years very extensively. But we also had to have our feasibility study done, all our EIR work completed, federal and state local approvals and certifications with respect to our water rights, our annexation with LAFCO, our CDFW permits, as those are all listed up there. So quite a lot had to be done ahead of time. The other projects are nowhere near getting through this long list. So a lot of hard work has gone into that. One thing with the Water Storage Investment Program is that it's first of its kind grant, both in California and I think the nation. It is a very unique structure with which the funding was not issued to build a specific project. The funds are going towards that construction, but they were awarded on achieving public benefits, which in our case are the ecosystem benefits and water quality benefits. So with that, we have, the statute requires us to enter into contracts for administering public benefits with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the State Water Board. Not until we entered into those contracts and they were executed could we go back to the Water Commission and actually have them affirm that we were going to receive that $292 million. So it's been some extensive work. Probably well over 50 meetings, having them with CDFW. This project was on the governor's, under his watch. He wanted to get this through. We had some pretty intensive meetings with the resources secretary. Governor has a strike team that is trying to push water storage projects forward. And so as we got to the end, we were able to sit down. We had 3 days of intensive negotiations with Fish and Wildlife and the Water Board, but we resulted with agreements that we feel that are appropriate, we can live with, and that there are off-ramps. We're predicting and modeling what we're anticipating with these environmental benefits, but we need to ensure that there were off-ramps. We're envisioning this to happen, but again, things change. There are things out of our control. Climate may change. There may be other regulatory issues that may affect us. Delta conveyance could affect the benefits, so we wanted to ensure that we negotiated those off-ramps, and we were able to do that. We attended the Water Commission hearing back in June. I think in May we had executed our agreements. We had to go through a hearing with the Water Commission and Fish and Wildlife and Water Board. Once that wrapped up, we went back to the commission in June, and they overwhelmingly supported the project and granted the award funding. So the next steps, we're almost to the finish line here, is we'll be executing a contract with the Water Commission. That does not need to go back into the commission itself. That's delegated to their executive officer. So we'll be pleased. We're looking at finalizing that hopefully by December. That's our anticipated date, so we should be able to get that, and we're wrapping things up with staff now with the Water Commission. So our next steps, as we're wrapping up some of the administrative process with the Water Commission and those agencies, we're obviously continuing our outreach with the growers and landowners. We're finalizing contract documents, working with the growers. We've got kind of a stakeholder advisory group working through some of the the templates that we're going to be having the farmers sign. We also have to have rules and regulations that will govern the use of recycled water as they're applying it to their fields, and then having a draft pricing schedule. We're looking at coming forward to your board with those draft grower agreement templates in December, and then we'll be rolling those out with the farmers and getting those executed. We'll also be moving on to the part of kind of the operational permitting that we need to work through with the State Water Board and the Regional Water Board for distributing recycled water. But we don't anticipate any issues. We've been working with those agencies, preparing them as we move forward. On the funding side, Mike highlighted our budget, so we're hoping that 597 will be down as we receive more bids, but we are on the hunt for more funding to help reduce the cost to our ratepayers. Currently, we have the roughly $292 million from the Water Storage Investment Program. We have a conditional award of $30 million from the Bureau of Reclamation. We're in the process of submitting an application to the State Water Board for a recycled water funding grant that can be up to $15 million. We feel pretty good that we should be able to achieve that $15 million coming in. There's also a lot of advocacy that we're doing as well. The budget trailer bill did include $500 million for water storage investment projects. That's not allocated this year, but it's for future years. We're hoping to try and get that accelerated if we can. We're extensively working with the climate resiliency bond. There's another bond measure that's being floated to try and bring forward to the voters. That was being debated at the last session of the legislature, got tabled. We're anticipating that coming back by January, or potentially a separate initiative going out without going through the legislature. So we're engaged with that. At this point, there's $300 million listed in that initiative for WSIP projects that we would be eligible for. We're trying to include some language that ensures that we're able to still compete for that funding. Since we are the first ones out the gate, we don't feel like we should be penalized for doing things promptly and proactively. So there's language in there, hopefully, that we'll be able to recap some of that funding. They're also looking at including probably $100 million to $1 billion for water recycling projects, so this project would be eligible for that. A couple other areas that we're looking at is the Wildlife Conservation Board is another agency that's received funding for their 30 by 30 plan, which is having 30% of lands within California dedicated to habitat preservation by 2030. So we will be looking at trying to see if we can pursue funding through that. We've been working with our federal partners and legislators on annual appropriation requests, working with our local delegation. There's also the bipartisan infrastructure law. Part of that, we with the USBR funding, was coming through that effort and working with Senator Padilla. He did help authorize that $30 million for the USBR grant and upping that. There's also some funding coming out of that through NOAA, again, working with some of our other environmental partners for climate resiliency and the whole watershed, as well as EPA and USDA. And Mike mentioned what we're trying to pursue with City of Elk Grove and Sacramento County Water Agency. So we are out there trying to gain some more support and funding, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some of that back. And that's it from my side. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from board members?
First of all, I just want to say for full transparency, I wasn't an early adopter of Echo Water. I thought the Water Quality Control Board was being overly onerous at the time, and obviously the expense that it was causing the districts seemed extreme. But once it was the law of the land, and that's what we were going to be pursuing, I was absolutely an early adopter of this because it simply makes sense, given that a portion of the effluent that travels through our plant originated in this region, and we paid to pump it, we paid to use it, we paid to send it away, and we paid to clean it, and then we were giving it away for free, essentially. And so I think to be able to reuse, reduce, recapture for our own region is a good thing. And I'll just say this, get ready for more awards coming down the pike, because we haven't even really undertaken the project yet, and we're already getting awards. And so I'm sure this is going to be the tip of the spear and really a model for the state and potentially the nation. I do want to say kudos for the transformer reuse. One, it's totally in keeping with the whole idea of this project, which is using our existing infrastructure more efficiently and effectively. And apparently necessity is the mother of invention, and so good on us for finding that solution. I know that my colleagues and I on the County Board of Supervisors fought for funding for the roadway pavement restoration, and that has now been kind of agreed upon of what the solution will be there, and to share the cost so that the roads get fully restored once the project is complete. Great. And then my last question, I believe I saw it in the report, but it wasn't mentioned in the PowerPoint. We are fully subscribed for the full 40,000 acre feet of reuse.
Yes, from the normal irrigation season, we have oversubscription, but I think the idea is that gives us that flexibility. So if crops change or farmers' needs change, we have that ability to move that water around.
Great.
So, yeah, so
and
exciting.
Then, just because I can't do the calculation in my head using different units, 40,000 acre feet is what our reuse subscription is targeted at. The capacity is 105 million gallons per day. How do those two things jibe?
So we have, our water rights allows for 50,000 acre feet per year.
Okay.
And so 32,500 acre feet will be able to be used for like your typical irrigation season. So that'll be going out there. The remainder can be used for habitat uses, wetlands, and wintertime irrigation, so for those type of crops. So essentially the 105 MGD equates to, I'm going to look at Mike, I think we're around 30 or 40,000 million gallons a day, but overall 50,000 acre feet. I'll let you jump in because pump station is also sized.
I'll try to be brief. So the pump station needs to deliver, during the peak irrigation season, we're limited to, I think it's a 70 million gallon per day, 7-day average. To meet that, we need to be able to deliver more than 70 because there's peaks and valleys in the demand curve. So we've estimated that we need to be able to deliver basically 100 million gallons per day to achieve that 7-day average of 70 MGD. So that's what went into the sizing of the pump station and the pipelines.
And so then just to kind of put a finer point on my question, what we have capacity to deliver, we have subscriptions for to use.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, through the letters of interest, letters of intent, we've got more than enough capacity to meet those demands, or that amount of water that we intend to deliver.
Great.
Yep.
So all we need to do is get out there and shake the money tree and see what falls loose, huh?
Pretty much.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Next question.
It's not a question, just a comment. Director Hume actually said most of it. First of all, I just want to say congratulations. This project's a long time coming. The timeline probably stretches across multiple screens for those who know how much went into it. And there were many times where it was seemingly 5 steps backwards before there was any evidence of any step forward. And just the idea of trying to establish the water rights of the water, as mentioned by Director Hume, was a big deal. And so congratulations to staff. It's starting to come together, and these projects take a lot of time, a lot of energy, but it sounds like it's well worth it at this point. So thank you.
Other comments, questions? Comments, questions this side? One question for me. Can you sort of line us up on where we are budget-wise with regard to cost of the project and how many grants we have in hand?
Yes. Oops, let's see if I can.
Because obviously we still have grants we are competing for, and we are much closer than I think the last time we talked about this.
We are. So we have 291.8 million is for sure. Yeah, it's already been awarded. We just need to do the administrative paperwork and execute the agreements. The 30 million with the Bureau of Reclamation, we are working through an agreement with them currently. So that I think is fairly certain. There are BABA requirements associated with that.
And what's the total cost?
The total of those funding, or the total cost of the project?
Cost of the project.
597 million as of right now.
We're at 321, 597 is the cost. We're trying to fill that gap.
Fill that gap of 275 million. And hopefully that gap will go down both with the bids coming in and with us securing some additional funding.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Any public comment? All right, that was a receive and file item. We are going to move on to item number 6. And thank you, board. This is now our monthly science update, where we bring our chief scientist out to educate us and the public on important issues.
We are not committing to a monthly science report.
Come on.
Budget.
It's my favorite part of the whole meeting.
So, good morning.
Welcome.
I think I need a PowerPoint up from the Metro Cable people, please. And maybe someone can tell me, I think I get a laser pointer. Yeah, now can you guys see that? Ooh, it's a little lag, but okay. We will use it sparingly. All right. Good morning, Chair Center and members of the board. I'm really happy to be with you here today. My name is Lisa Thompson. I'm the Chief Scientist at Regional SAN within the Scientific Research Section, which is in the Policy and Planning Department. And I'm here today to talk to you about the Sacramento River Nutrient Change Study. Here we go. So this was a collaborative study. It had a lot of input, and I'll circle back to that at the end. I think it's actually probably the most important thing about the project. That's going to help. So it was done by researchers at Regional SAN in collaboration with U.S. Geological Survey and San Francisco State University and several consulting firms. And then the funding came from the Delta Regional Monitoring Program, which is overseen by our Regional Water Board, but has funding from many water users and folks with water quality interests in the Delta, as well as funding from the state water contractors and the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. And then there were in-kind contributions from Regional SAN and some of the other participants. So I want to give you a little bit of background. Some of you, if you remember Dr. Tim Musson's presentation, this will be familiar, but I know not everybody was necessarily here. But research conducted in 2014 and 2016 showed that phytoplankton abundance or algal abundance in the Sacramento River decreases as you come downstream. So we're talking about, say, up around Knight's Landing and moving down to around Ileton. There's this decrease. It's been seen by lots of different researchers, and we've studied it as well. And the limitations on the algae seem to be related to a lack of light. The channel's deep and dark. Also some clam grazing, and then dilution from tributaries such as the Feather River and the American River coming in. So we knew that in that part of the river, it didn't seem to make too much difference what you did with the nutrients. The algae weren't reacting one way or another to ammonia, but it wasn't clear what was going to happen if you put them in a place with enough light. Then would they grow or not grow if you change the nutrients? So that was still kind of left hanging. So moving along, I just want to give you a little bit of background on the food web, since we're not all biologists. But we've got phytoplankton here. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to talk because this thing's got a lag on it. Okay, so in the middle of that food web, you've got phytoplankton. They're using nutrients to grow, and they get grazed on or eaten by zooplankton, which are microscopic little animals, like barely can see them in the water column, and also by clams at the bottom of the river. And then the zooplankton, in turn, may get eaten by smaller fish like Delta smelt, and they may, in turn, get eaten by larger fish like bass. And then there are also other factors affecting the phytoplankton, such as the amount of light that they receive, since they've got to photosynthesize to grow, and also the amount of time they have. So if the water's flowing through the delta slowly, there's more time for the algae to build up before it gets flushed downstream. So that's a little primer on the food web. So now I want to talk a little bit about the specific study that we did. So in 2019, the construction for the Echo Water project was going on, and there were a number of valve replacements and other plumbing replacements that happened. Sorry. There was going to be, in September of 2019, a 48-hour period when there was so much of this plumbing changing going on that the plant was not going to be putting any wastewater into the river for a full 2 days. And we looked at it and said, hey, this is an opportunity. Because at that time, you recall, our plant was still discharging mostly ammonia. And at that time, because of the amount we were discharging, the nutrients from the nitrogen from our plant made up half the nitrogen in the river. So once the river came past Freeport, we were basically doubling the dissolved inorganic nitrogen concentration in the river. So with this diversion happening, with them holding back the wastewater, we were going to be cutting the nutrients in the river in half for 2 days. And we thought, hey, we could study this. This would be really interesting. And we knew from working with our flow models, resource management associates who were part of the project, with the flows we were seeing in 2019, the river is going to be going at such a speed that there's going to be a parcel of wastewater-free water over 20 miles long in the river. So lots of room to go out and study. Trouble was, we knew the Sacramento River was too deep and dark and nothing was going to happen. So we said, hey, where else could we go? So we're all sitting around in a big group talking about this at these Delta Regional Monitoring Program meetings. Said, hey, what about some of these channels in the East Delta? So if you look on the east side of the map there, there's 3 channels that are highlighted. And it's the Georgiana Slough, the North Fork McCullummy River, and the South Fork McCullummy River. They're shallower than the Sacramento River, so for a given amount of light hitting the water, it's getting deeper into the water column because the water's shallower, and the algae are in the light more of the time. So they're circling around in the water column, and they're getting light more of the time, so they're growing better. Also, the flows are slower, so there's more time for the algae to build up. So it looked like a good place to do the work. So what we ended up doing was going out there. We had a full day where we studied the system with just the regular wastewater coming down, and then we were ready for when the plant stopped discharging, and we were out there for another 2 days. So we had kind of a before and after. And the green dots are all the places that we sampled. We had 3 teams on boats and went out and sampled these 17 stations repeatedly each day. And then our colleagues at the U.S. Geological Survey have a really cool boat that can go at full speed, 25, well, full speed for those channels, full speed around the channels, monitoring on a continuous basis. And so they were able to map the whole area for us within a day and give us a really good overview of what was happening. So the purple line is where they went with their fast boat. The green dots are where we sampled and grabbed water samples. There's the yellow dot at Freeport, at Walnut Grove, and then downstream of Rio Vista. Those are the locations of continuous high-frequency sensor stations the U.S. Geological Survey runs, which give us background information. So we had all of that going on, and we basically went out and monitored everything we possibly could, except fish, but everything else we could that was happening in the system for those 3 days. So now what I'm going to do is move us to a diagram that's going to combine this map and the food web, so you can see everything at once, and we'll talk about how it turned out. Promise no graphs. But if you want graphs, there are plenty in the report. Report, if you want graphs. So here we are, just to get you oriented. Imagine you're down by Highway 12, down by Rio Vista, the Lodi area, and you're looking north. So we still have the city of Sacramento up at the top of the map. Sacramento River is flowing down past the city. It's going past our treatment plant, and then it's going off towards the southwest. And we're zoomed in on those 3 shallower channels, Georgiana Slough, the North Fork McCullummy, and the South Fork McCullummy River. And a couple things you can see. Our treatment plant is discharging. This was the normal discharge in 2019, which was mostly ammonium with some nitrate. There's some background nitrate coming in from rural and urban sources as well, and that's moving downstream. The Delta Cross Channel gates are there near Walnut Grove. They were open, so the water could freely flow from the Sacramento, get into the McCullummy River system. The 3 channels have little clocks on them, and they're there to show you that there's more time in those channels than there is in the Sacramento River, so more time for the phytoplankton to grow. The rainbow arrows are showing that there's light availability in those channels. The little rainbow arrow with the star in the Sacramento River is showing that there's light limitation because it's too dark. So that's our basic setup. If you look in the water column in the 3 channels, they're basically the same. The green dots are showing you the phytoplankton. The little yellow guys with the antenna are the zooplankton. And then the clams are at the bottom of the river. And we do have a fish out in the Sacramento, just to remind us there are fish there, but as I said, we didn't study them for this project. So that's our basic. Anyone have any questions before we move on? Oh, got it? Okay. Cool. So now we're moving into what actually happened during the study. So we've got an X over the treatment plant, no nutrients coming out for 2 days. So what we expect to see downstream then is that we're not seeing the ammonium and the nitrate that we would have seen. And I should have said earlier, but by the time the water moves that far downstream, the ammonia, some of it is actually nitrified into nitrate or converted into nitrate. So but you'd expect to see some ammonium and some nitrate down there, but now we're not expecting to see whatever was coming from the plant because we think it's going to flush through. We still do see some nitrate, though, because we're still seeing the background that was coming from other sources. So we weren't making the place nutrient-free, we were just cutting it down a lot. Now, another thing that was really kind of interesting that happened was that the light levels increased in the channels while we were working. And this was because the turbidity of the water decreased, so the cloudiness of the water. And it turned out, and thankfully we had those upstream high-frequency stations like the one at Freeport, we were able to look at that and say, hey, the water in the Sacramento River became less turbid in the midst of our experiment, which as a scientist is really annoying. You don't want your background conditions to change, but at least we knew what had happened. And so what was happening is up at the top there, we've got another arrow now, it was getting more light everywhere. So we've got a situation where we cut back on the nutrients for our phytoplankton, but we gave them more light. So now we're going to get to see what happens. Another thing to mention is that the zooplankton and the clams, we measured the amount of them, but we didn't expect it to change over the course of this experiment, other than just some natural variability of where they're floating around in the water column in the case of the zooplankton. Because the zooplankton take weeks to months to reproduce, the clams take months to years. So we definitely need to know what's out there in terms of how much they might be grazing in different parts of the system, but we didn't expect it to change over the course of the project. So what happened with the phytoplankton? You'd figure, well, you take away the nutrients, they're probably going to go down, but then we increase the light. Well, we got a really mixed bag. So overall, phytoplankton abundance stayed the same. We measured that through chlorophyll, the pigment that allows it to photosynthesize, stayed the same. Strangely, though, the amount or abundance of blue-green phytoplankton decreased quite substantially from a density standpoint over the course of the experiment. They're very tiny, so they don't make much difference to the overall mass, but it's like counting poppy seeds. There's a lot of them, but they don't make up much mass. And then the other thing that happened was the growth rate of the phytoplankton increased. And we think that's because the light increased. Our phytoplankton experts are like, oh, okay. But it wasn't enough to change the overall amount of phytoplankton because it was such a short study. So kind of a mixed bag. So where does this get us to? Well, we've got those three outcomes I mentioned. Overall phytoplankton stays the same. Phytoplankton blue-green algae goes down, and then growth rate goes up. Well, this is kind of interesting. It's interesting that you can take away half the nutrients, your phytoplankton stays the same, at least over a 2-day period. The blue-green phytoplankton response is worthy of further study, because some blue-green algae can cause harmful algal blooms, and I'm sure everybody heard about the harmful algal bloom in San Francisco Bay, so that's a big concern. So if there's ways of controlling that, great, but they, as I said, they made up a small amount of the overall pounds of phytoplankton out there, but definitely worthy of future concern, and I know that our regional board is going to be looking into that, amongst others. The other thing is that light is really important. You can go out there and just add some extra light, and you get this response. So it's something to watch for. I mean, if you're going to get beneficial phytoplankton, they're going to help you grow more zooplankton, grow more fish, great. But you don't want to be growing harmful algal blooms for sure. So this study is going to be really interesting in terms of how it's going to inform what people do in the future. Because now we've got the Echo Water project running. Our nitrogen loads to the river are down by about 85%, so not as much as during this Sac River Nutrient Change Study project, but it's on a continuous basis. So there's more time for things to equilibrate. And so there's definitely groups in the Delta that are studying that, and then routine state and federal data collection. They're going to help us get a better handle on that over time. It's also informing projects that are being designed by the Delta Regional Monitoring Program, specifically looking at what we learned from this project and how can we design other experiments that'll get us a better understanding. But I think the main thing was the collaborative nature of this project. I think if you think back 10 years ago, it would be pretty hard to imagine Regional Sand collaborating on a project funded by the state water contractors and working side by side with the U.S. Geological Survey and San Francisco State University. And I was looking back at the pictures last night in the report of all the people on the boats, and it's all intermingled. And you needed a certain expert on every single boat, so it wasn't just Regional Sand's boat and the San Francisco State University boat. We were all mixed up working together. And then the acknowledgements page the acknowledgement section is 2 pages long. So many people had to contribute to this. So I just look back and that was probably the most valuable thing, really, that we can be in there in the mix helping with the science and keeping the ecosystem healthier. So that's all I have. I'd be happy to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Are there questions? Go ahead.
It's not a question, just a comment. First of all, thank you. That was actually fascinating. I think I probably understood about half of it, but even that was incredibly fascinating. The one thing that I did catch at the end, and that is the reference to the algal blooms and the impacts and where that's headed. And I know many of us here sit on other boards and commissions that have been lobbying for additional funds to study reasons why that is occurring and what its impacts are to the delta and water quality. So that's something certainly that I think this body would benefit from hearing more of as we discover and determine kind of what are the impacts and, well, how is it happening and why is it happening? Because we have had some federal support, at least initially, to further explore that issue and its impacts to the delta, because we all need to be mindful of that. So just wanted to put that out there. But thank you very much for the presentation. Very, very informative.
Yeah, I just first want to start by saying, for those of you sitting on the ends over here, you missed the doctor scientist to doctor scientist, a little joking that was going on where I would hear chuckling coming from the chair's seat. So sorry for your seat choices today. But and Director Villegas and I sit on several different boards regarding the Delta and the health of the Delta, and it's that's one of the things we're studying is how do we make the Delta function more efficiently for human needs, but not at the expense of the very delicate ecosystem, and how one step at this very basic level has deleterious effects, obviously going all the way up. I know that the water hyacinth problem is an issue, certainly for navigability of the Delta, but also I would imagine that's robbing considerable light from getting down into the waterways.
And it's probably also interacting with nutrients. I didn't get into that level of detail, but there are other reasons why you might expect that if you decrease the nutrients coming from our plant, there's other places it can be stored. It can be stored in those plants and then released when they die. It can be stored in the sediment and released if the sediment's turned up during a storm. So yeah, there's a lot of interaction. Not to get too far into it, but the Delta Regional Monitoring Program is doing its nutrient long-term planning, and they've got some really neat experiments where they're going to be looking at obviously different concentrations of nutrients in the system that they're giving to phytoplankton and seeing how much the phytoplankton grow. And they're doing it in chambers where they can control everything. So they're going to get exactly the light they want for that project. And they're going to add a clam to some chambers. They're going to add a little piece of macrophyte plant to a chamber and see how that interacts. And some of it's kind of pilot. People don't usually go in dropping bits of plant into little chamber experiments, but they're going to give that a shot. We had a meeting yesterday about that study. Another piece of that that's really interesting is that, and this has been supported by the wastewater plants, is to look at how low you can go with the nutrients and what kind of phytoplankton you're growing. Because one of the concerns, it's not me, but other people have, is if you get low enough that you suppress every chance of having a harmful algal bloom, do you get low enough that it's tough for beneficial algae to grow? Because for sure, if you take all the nutrients out of that system, there'll be no phytoplankton, but there won't be anything else. Mm-hmm. So it's learning to tune the system better. I think it's going to be kind of like a race car, right? Like, how do you tune it? What kind of fuel do you give it, and have it still run efficiently and not be stalling out on you?
Well, and I know one of the things that I had the good fortune when I toured some of the work that's going on WebTract is they're looking at, can we grow some of this base level fuel outside the system and export it into the system at a high enough level to actually have a beneficial effect.
Yeah, and then if you think about the harvest water project, the summertime when the weather's warm is when you're most likely to have a harmful algal bloom. It can be different times of the year, but tends to be temperature related because the algae that form those blooms tend to like it a little hotter than some of the others, not always, but often. Well, if we're doing recycling at that time of the year, wonderful, because that's one less source of nutrients. And I've heard from the Bay Area treatment plants, they're looking into the possibility of that too. They've had a 10-year nutrient management strategy where they've been studying everything about nutrients in San Francisco Bay. And they're still like, oh my gosh, and then we just had this big harmful algal bloom. So they're really working fast to see what they can do in terms of efficiency of their plants, but also, can we recycle? Do we have the footprint that we can do recycling and just never put that water in the river? And as long as the river has enough water, it doesn't need the water from the treatment plant. Use it somewhere else and don't pull other water out.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? I did have chuckle a little bit when you talked about the variable of the sun. I'm a laboratory-based scientist, right? So bench work, and we aspire to be field scientists, but of course we're not capable of that because we like to control all the variables.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having that sun occur, the incident, solar radiation, you've got more reproduction obviously going on in the zooplankton then, but there's no existing baseline or background or a model that would predict what effect that would have on your other measurements.
You could predict, but you really want to go out and measure it in the field. I mean, what you really want to have is kind of a spectrum of things you do, right? You want to have those container experiments where you have perfect control, but when you have perfect control, you don't have all the variables. Then you go out in the real world and you have all the variables and you don't have the control. So you kind of need to go back and forth or somewhere in between and just play around with it, because you can test the management actions in a little container, but until you really go out and try it in the real world, you're not really going to know. And that's dangerous. It's always risky, right? You don't want to try something in the real world and cause a disaster. So you kind of have to go back and forth between, like, what do we really think is going to happen? How can we scale this up and do a test? And then, the trouble is with treatment plants, you can't do a test more than 2 days. So then you're really having to, get into modeling. The modeling can be really helpful. Like the other main project that's currently planned within the Delta Regional Monitoring Program is to do enhanced modeling of the system and, again, look at what would happen with different nutrient loading. And the models are wonderful, but they can only predict so much. Like They can't even really predict what happens with the zooplankton or which kind of phytoplankton you get. They just do, here's all your phytoplankton. You guess whether it was good or not. So,
Yeah, you sort of need a parallel study that chases the sun, right?
yeah.
Here's a sunny
Or
day,
who
here's
was
a period
doing
of
what with
non-sunny days.
Who was doing what with a reservoir upstream or something
Then
that changed the turbidity?
There's that variable as well. Or you can just call Christoph and have him turn the system off for a while.
Well, and I should have mentioned, too, at the way our treatment plant was running at the time, we caused a tiny increase, maybe a 10% increase in turbidity, but what we saw was a cutting in half of the turbidity. So just for full disclosure, I bet now we don't affect the turbidity at all. I would have to look. I haven't looked at the recent data, but I just looked at that time, but I think our water is a lot more clear now. So.
Very good.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
We'll see you next month.
Yeah, I'll whip up another one of these in the meantime.
All right, we're on to item number 7.
Item number 7, you're acting as a Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District presentation on the wait, this is the one we just said, sorry. Receive a report on the growth of infill and new communities in the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District service area, And we did not have any public comments for item number 6.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. I'm going to do a quick report out on this. Excuse me. And this is on our impact fee schedule, and we have a 2-tier system. A little bit of background. So we have implemented a 2-tier system, and that was put in place back in 2002. And it was set up really to collect the additional fees for the new interceptor program that was put in place at that time and being constructed at that time. So back in I guess the question is probably what is the new and what's the infill impact fees and the mapping associated with those. Back in 1975, there was a service area boundary map set up that really defined, when the regional stand was formed, where the interceptors and conveyance systems were constructed at that time. And that carried forward, and then in 2002, we, embarked on this new interceptor project, which really was the beneficiaries of that were primarily the folks outside of that 1975 boundary. So outside that 1975 boundary were considered new area impact fees, and the areas within that 1975 boundary were considered the infill fees. And that was, the concept was once a community in that new area outside of the 1975 boundary reached a 70% or more development, then they would transition from new to infill. And just to give you a magnitude here, an infill fee for a typical home is about $3,300 per house, and in the new area, it's about $6,500 per home. So it's quite a bit of a difference in the impact fees. So, the board, set a review frequency for this. So every year we go through, we look at the communities in the new areas to see if they do reach that 70% threshold. And this year happened to be the first year that actually one did. and that is the South Natomas area. And so the South Natomas community, which is essentially bounded by I-80, and then on the south by Sac River and America River, and I believe on the east side there's the East Natomas Drainage Canal. That is the South Natomas community. That did surpass the 70% build out and has now transitioned from the new impact fee, $6,500 to infill, which is $3,300 per home. So that was, I believe, happened in July or August, and that has been effective since then. So that's the news, a little bit of good news, I guess, for that area. It's a little cheaper to develop in that area. And really, the process is for us to bring the impact fee, the infill and new map update to your board every 5 years, but we do bring you updates if something changes sooner. So our next update, if nothing else changes, will be 2027. So that's all I have to report.
So colleagues, I commend the map that's attached to that item in the agenda to your attention. It's kind of interesting, but I urge you not to look at the chart that is attached, because that's the opening to a serious rabbit hole of 1975 decisions. So we'll just set that one aside.
Yeah.
But the map is very informative. Any questions on this? All right, very good. That was item 7. Let's move on to consent items 8 through 11.
For these consent matters, you're acting as the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and the Sacramento Area Sewer District.
And we didn't have any public comment on the last item, correct?
Correct. We did not have any for item number 7, and we don't have any for items 8 through 11.
Very good. Open for a motion on these consent items.
Move consent.
Is there a second? Very good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Excellent.
I'm sorry, Chairperson Sander. Who made the second? Thank you. And I will need another motion and second for the Sacramento Area Sewer District because you are not a member. I'm sorry.
I'll do the same.
Thank you. That works. Thank you.
Should we vote again?
No, sir. That's fine.
That brings us to items 12 to 13. Sacramento Sewer District consent items.
Correct. Items 12 and 13, and we do not have any public comments for these items as
Any member
either.
questions? I'm open for motion. Motion
Second.
made and seconded.
Thank you.
All
Is that
in-
I'm sorry, motion by member Desmond,
Desmond.
and second by
Hume.
member Hume. Thank you.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Very good. That takes us to item number 14,
And that is a receive and file only.
with a very funny title. All right, with that, is there anything else to come before this board? Seeing none, we are adjourned.